Good morning, everybody. I was just going to do a quick, maybe 10, 15 minute podcast because that's all the time that's on my memory card, actually. Um, so I'm reading all the thumbnails on YouTube as I scroll through the news feeds and everything like that. And apparently, a lot of people are concerned or questioning whether we are entering World War III or if there will be a World War III. Now, my opinion is that we are technically already in a World War III type situation because, the whole world is kind of drawing lines everywhere and stuff. So you can be in a war without bombs flying and stuff like that. It just, World War II, we were, asked to go into Germany and all that. And a lot of countries were surrendering and a lot of them weren't. And so I would say we're in World War III. We're not in a nuclear war, thank God. And someone I was talking to yesterday was asking me, they go, well, it's kind of scary that Russia has their fleet in Cuba. And I started to kind of laugh, and I go, well, what's so scary about that? I mean, we've had our fleet over there in Taiwan and everywhere. We drive it or float it around or whatever the fuck we do. And we project our presence, our might, our strength. Well, Russia is kind of doing the same thing in our backyard. And we've never, bombed anyone yet, with our fleet over there doing exercises, which is, I guess, maybe an appropriate word because when you're doing exercises, you're flexing and stuff like that. And that's what we do with our battle fleets when we take them around the world and stuff. So I don't really see it as a problem per se. But I think it's funny that Russia may talk to Cuba and say, hey, Obama got you a pretty sweet deal trying to open markets and bring you back into the real world and out of the 50s, because like all their cars and shit. And then Trump turned around and reversed it. And I know a lot of people love Trump, so no matter what he did, everybody thought it was a great fucking idea, but Cuba didn't think it was a great idea, and Cuba's never been a threat to America. I mean, they're fucking Cuba. They're an island. They just had communist beliefs. Well, so what? All the people that were floating their rafts over here and shit like that weren't trying to overthrow our government. They were trying to get away from communism. So I don't see him as a threat. And Trump apparently wanted these punishing sanctions brought back on Cuba to where I can't buy a decent fucking Cohiba cigar. Not that Cuba still makes cigars, because I guess Castro outlawed those for health reasons, because, oh my God, everybody buys into junk science except the bullshit coming out of the FDA's mouth. Eat the supermarket diet will kill you quicker than fucking cigars, but hey, whatever. So I'm going to say, for the record, we are in a world war, and if it doesn't tone down because of some of the rhetoric and the bullshit going on with our mindless leader, then it may become a bomb-throwing war, and then it may become nuclear. But for now, it's not. Russia's just over there in Cuba going, hey, we got your back. Why don't you join BRICS? And you can sell the fuck out of your goods and stuff and buy goods from us, because even though America's right there, they're not going to sell to you. They're like a racist supermarket right down the street. But you can't buy from them because they don't like you. They don't like the color of your skin. They don't like your political views. Well, we'll sell to you because we believe in, multipolarism. The other day in one of my podcasts, I called it bipolarism, which is kind of what we suffer in America, actually, is bipolar. disorder. But Russia wants multipolar. It's like you can be free over there in Cuba. You can buy stuff from us, and you can sell your cigars or whatever you have, and maybe buy some new electric cars and shit like that instead of these old 56 and 57 Chevys. Hey, why not? So there's a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff in Cuba trying to do well, but because of what we do to them, and our overarching virus of democracy, is hurting them. Now, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the whole thing of democracy. And the beautiful thing about our representative republic, or our constitutional republic, or what America was founded on, the beautiful thing about it is we don't have to relitigate the values of our country every 4 or 8 fucking years, which seems to be what we're doing now. It's like we get a new president. Well, does your right to bear arms change? Well, I guess so, because we got a new Democrat president. Oh, well, can we go back to normal and where I have freedom of speech? Yeah, we need to elect a new president that believes in that. And that's not what a constitution was meant to be. It's kind of like a set of religious beliefs, like the 10 Commandments, but instead of it being enforced by some invisible God that we won't know we broke the commandments until we die and get there, and then we might find out how serious he was, we function by that right now, our Bill of Rights. And it was laid out pretty nicely, and actually if we were following the Constitution as written, we would be doing fucking dandy right now. But no, we had to relitigate it every presidency, going back probably past Wilson even. So it seems to flip-flop, and that to me is like, what are you church shopping so you can be gay, or you could be a pedophile, or you can be an adulterer, or you can be a thief, and you'll find a religion and a fake God that believes in you. That's not the way it was set up in America. We had these rights, and if you really think about them, they were pretty common sense. That's why, he wrote, what's his name, wrote the pamphlet, Common Sense, because it's pretty simple. Your rights end where mine begin. So let's take that out a little ways and look at it. I have the right to own a gun, and I have a right to shoot it and hunt and do all these things. And my rights to shooting a rabbit doesn't interfere with your rights in any way, shape, or form. Now let's say I shoot that gun up in the air, and it comes down and kills my neighbor or somebody nearby, because it'll go way the fuck up there, and then it'll hit terminal velocity on the way back down and might kill you. Or if you just shoot it at an angle, then it's even going faster. Well, to sit there and go, oh, I'm sorry, that was an accident, is kind of bullshit, because your right to fire that gun ended when it killed my dog or my kid or my wife or me. So it wasn't an accident, because an accident would have been like you were hunting and you shot a rabbit and you were being cautious, because people that actually own guns and understand things understand that you don't want to be shooting at a target that's in front of a bunch of people or within a half mile or a mile of neighbors and stuff, because that's just fucking dumb. So to say that was an accident, would be stupid. If you're shooting at a rabbit and the bullet goes through the rabbit, hits a rock and ricochets off, and somehow manages to go backwards and almost kill you, which ricochets will do, then you could say, fuck, that was an accident. I never thought that would happen, in a billion years, because the odds of that happening are 1 in a billion. But what are the odds of shooting a bullet up in the air and killing someone? Well, pretty good, because you weren't even aiming at anything, for one thing, so it wasn't an accident, because you didn't even know where it was going to go. So you can apply laws then and say, well, wait a minute, it wasn't an accident, that was careless. It might have been deemed as, kind of like homicide or some kind of, not homicide, but what do they call it? Like a manslaughter, you know, like when you drive your car, the tire blows out, you run off the road and run somebody over, that's still called vehicular homicide. It might have been an accident and all that, but you're still going to go to court and say, hey, I didn't just go off the road and run that fucker over because I didn't like him. You know, so you have to prove that it was actually an accident, and then it's homicide. You know, vehicular homicide, it was not murder. And so you might get a slap on the wrist and have to pay restitution to that family, or your insurance will, but you're not going to go to the fucking electric chair. So all of these rights had a very common set of rules behind them. And what we do is we have to litigate it now all the time. Like, do you have the right to free speech? Of course you do. Oh wait, we have a new president and a new administration, and they think that's hurtful and it hurts their feelings. Did you know that, you know, for years they've been saying, well, you don't have the right to fire, you know, yell fire in a crowded building or a theater. Well, yeah, actually you do. If there's a fire, then that would be perfectly acceptable. But just to jump up and go fire and go running around and scaring people, what? See, now that is stupid. And there's rules for that. And somebody might get outside and go, where's the fire? And then I was just kidding, and kick your ass. That's fine. You know, now you learn something. But we have to go to court all the time now and go, well, I have the right to say something that offends my government. Well, no, actually you don't. This new administration thinks you shouldn't do that. Oh, well, fuck. And I don't know where the media is, you know, the fourth estate that's supposed to protect our rights and look at things that, you know, like I'm presenting them right now and go, oh, that's pretty fucking dumb to yell fire in a building that wasn't actually in fire. Well, we'll make it a law that says you just can't yell fire in a building. Oh, well, what if it is on fire? You'll still be punished for it. See how it gets stupid? So if we were following the Constitution and applying common sense, and we hadn't been dumbed down so fucking much, I think it would work great. But no, because the people that now administer your rights, which should be from, you know, I don't even like saying your rights are from God, because if you don't believe in God, then you can weasel dick around that shit. But a dog, your family dog, you've had it since it was a puppy. You back it into a corner, you scare it, and you try to take its bone, it's going to bite you. And then you go, my fucking dog bit me, and you shoot it or put it down. Well, that's fucked up. You caused it. You caused that. But a dog has its right to protect its property, that bone it found, and its life if it feels threatened, and it will bite you, its master. It will bite the hand that feeds it if that hand that feeds it beats it or abuses it. It's called self-defense, and eventually even a dog will sit there and go, no, I'm not going to put up with this shit anymore. You fucking take one more step toward my bone, and I will bite you. And just like a poor dog master, our government sitting there going, well, we pushed him into a corner, and we pushed, and we shoved, and we pushed, and then when they defended themselves, they fucking shot us. Oh my God, that was horrible. No, what was horrible is you pushed them into a corner, and then you threatened them, and you scared them, and you railed against them, and you made them feel like fucking hammered shit, like on January 6th. And then you actually entrapped them by opening the doors and doing all this stuff that's kind of like off the record, and we don't talk about it really, because that goes against their narrative, even though we have free speech and we can talk about it and bring it to light. And then if we're wrong, then they can all laugh at us. That's great. I'd rather be laughed at than thrown in prison. So just like, you know, a bad dog owner will kill its dog for biting it because he tortured it and harassed it and beat it and kept stealing its food and scaring it and putting it in a corner. What the fuck else was it going to do? And you, as a master of that dog, are a fucking piece of shit. And good thing it bit you. Too bad he didn't take out your neck So you would have died, and then everyone would have looked, oh, I wonder what happened here. And they wouldn't have known, because dead people don't lie. So we need to rethink things, because our Constitution does work. We just need to stop relitigating it every fucking 4 or 8 years, or every time we get a whim up our ass. We're not supposed to be adding amendments to the Constitution like the 17th Amendment when it does more damage than good, because people can't think. They can't think and figure things out. You know, what did the 17th Amendment do? Well, it started with gerrymandering and redistricting. And then they thought, well, what we need to redistrict so every group that we have created has representation. So it's going to go over there and over there and over there and over there. And if we come up with a new cause celeb and we divide the people even more, then we'll redistrict to get 10 or 15 of them proportionally in our district also. It was just supposed to be a fucking circle that encompassed about 30 to 40,000 people. And it was a slice of everybody. They hadn't been divided up. But you lived in that area for a reason. You chose to live in that area because you liked farming or cattle ranching or whatever. Or you just like being in a big city and being left the fuck alone. Fine, that's where you live. That's your district. So they started redistricting. And now instead of it being 30 to 40,000 people, which I think it was even less than that, but it was pretty close back in the day, they had less people. So then they said, well, no, we got to run it up to almost 1 million people now, because we only got so much room in the White House and the Capitol building. We'll fucking build another one. You cheap bastards. You'll build fucking buildings and monuments to fucking wokeism, or the FBI's new building and stuff. Build a Capitol. Build a House of Representatives in every state, so our 500-600 representatives can go there, work out the problems that deal with their state. They don't need to be in Washington, because they don't even understand who their constituents are. Like Lindsey Graham just goes on and on about war, what he thinks. Well, 87% of America do not think the way he does, even in his own district. So we've lost grip on that, see, because we changed it. We relitigated it and we changed it. And then your House representatives, the guy you voted for or the girl you knew from high school, you voted for to be your representative, they go to the courthouse, the new capital in Arizona or whatever state you live in, and they talk amongst themselves and they go, this new EPA thing is bullshit. We should defund it. And everybody in the fucking state house says, yeah, this is fucking bullshit. Kick them to the curb. Why are we even funding it? And then they send all their senators to Washington that they pick and go, we think this is bullshit. And then they get there and they find out all the other senators from all the other states go, my state called it the same fucking thing. Bullshit. We should defund it. Let's defund it. Bam. Slam the gavel, defund it, walk away, go to fuck home and do your job at home where you live with the people that elected you. So it was very pure, very simple, just like in science. I can't remember what theory that is in science, but you know, Occam's razor or whatever, you know, that the simplest answer is usually correct. The simplest solution or equation is usually correct. So we fucked that all up. And then we sat there and go, well, we need to put a Band-Aid on it because it's not working right. Oh, yeah, not like curing the fucking problem. Let's just create a new Band-Aid. Let's treat the symptom. And then when it gets bad again in 10 years, we'll fix that symptom, and then we'll fix that symptom. They never fix the symptom because they don't know the problem, but they just keep throwing more clutter on it, which does what? Creates more bureaucracies, people that are unelected, to tell you and me what to fucking do. So we need to have a serious conversation about this shit. And it doesn't have to be by Ivy League fuck-ups, because I'm about as stupid as you can get, but I understand common sense. And so do you, and most people listening to this, and probably even the people you share it with, because you're going to listen to it and go, yeah, that guy's kind of fucking weird and he cusses a lot, but he is right. Common sense is common sense. I mean, do you have to have a degree in fluid dynamics to know that water runs downhill? No, you don't. You might need that degree to understand it if you're going to build a pump or an aqueduct and shit like that. But just for you and I'm not a politician. I don't need to have a degree in poli-sci. It's just like water runs downhill. Fix it. You dumb motherfuckers. Fix it. Well, you don't understand. No, I don't need to understand, asshole, other than I elected you. And you're such a poor, pathetic fucking politician that you don't even know why you're there. You know, so people don't understand the physics behind the simplest thing. Like, you know, and so every time you litigate it, you change the principle behind it. That's why it's kind of like a religious principle. You don't have to understand a lot of it. It's just a value system we were set up on. Like, you know, if you look at propane gas, what happens to propane? It starts out as a liquid. You put it in a tank, pressure builds up, not so much that it ruptures the tank, but it builds up, and then you got gas. Now, what if propane decided it wanted to be like gasoline? I'm a liquid too, damn it. What about my rights? And so you put gasoline in a tank, it goes bad, it gets fucked up. If it's hot out, it builds up more pressure than propane would, and then the fucking thing blows up. Or it starts squirting out of your stove because once it gets back into those fumes are very volatile and stuff. So you need a system that is based on physics and reality. If pieces of aluminum all of a sudden decided that they're made up of the same molecules that wood is made out of, and then they go, I'm going to be a piece of wood today, the fucking universe falls apart. Well, our system is that way. We have governing rules that were thought out by 800 years of constitutional law in England. And every time it got a little awry, they fucking beheaded their king, overthrew him, and started over and wrote a new constitution. The Magna Carta was just one of many constitutions. And finally, the Founding Fathers, after reading all that and finding the flaw in every one that caused that to collapse to where they had to kill the king, they went, aha, we need a representative republic. Not a representative democracy, a representative republic. And then they go, how does that work? And then they worked it all out and they go, well, that is great because now we have a bunch of people that talk to a couple people, they appoint them, they go to Washington, talk to the other groups of people that, and their two appointed people, and then they vote on it. We don't have to rethink Roe v. Wade. We don't have to rethink all this shit. It's common sense. And then every once in a while, the states will go, oh, what about abortion? They go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, in our opinion, this is fucked up. But if you do it and apply it this way in your state, then it's not unconstitutional. And it's kind of fair. Now, a state could sit there and go, well, we'll take it under advisement, but we just don't agree. Good. You're a state. Do whatever you think is right. And if enough people in your state think you're full of shit, they'll fucking leave. And you'll go, well, we don't want that. It's like I was listening to an interview years ago with the president of Venezuela. And he was talking about how the best people that are willing to leave his country and get on a train or whatever and go to America was like a crime, because he goes, these are people that are motivated, had a little bit of money, and they decided to make that trek rather than stay here. I was listening to him on Tucker Carlson just the other day, and he was going, our crime rate is now lowest in the world almost. And he goes, people are coming back, and we fixed the problem. And so everything can be fixed if you have somebody that's doing the right thing and following the rules. And he goes, all I did was arrest the fucking gangs. And if they don't like it, then they better leave the country before they get arrested. And it's not that hard to be an American. They've muddied the waters and they want to relitigate and rethink our value system all the time. Bill Clinton might have thought that he did not have sexual relations with that woman. But I'm pretty sure when he dies and he talks to God, God's going to go, you can dance around the subject all you want, Bill. But that was adultery, and that was a sin, and you blew it. Now, whatever happens in heaven and all that after judgment, I don't know. He might go to hell. He might go somewhere else and time out for a millennium or two. And I don't know. We're not talking about that. But in the eyes of reality and the rules that are set up, he committed adultery. And then everybody's like, well, do you really think it was adultery? Well, I don't know. You told a generation of girls that oral sex is not sex. So now, you know, giving your boyfriend head behind the stadium is okay because you're not violating any of these stupid principles your parents think about. No, you still did. You're still stupid. You're still kind of wrong. And if you don't want to follow those rules, then don't blame it on semantics. Just go, I don't believe in that. I'm going to bang anyone I want. Oh, okay. But don't sit there and go, well, you know, according to the Bible I read, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, be a man or a woman, stand up and go, I don't really care about thou shalt not. I like him, I'm going to have sex with him, I get pregnant, I'm going to marry him. If he doesn't want to marry, I'll get an abortion. I don't care about all that. But you need a court system and a legal system in a country that says, well, you can believe whatever you want, and if you get pregnant and you want an abortion, well, we really can't stop you, I guess, but don't send me the bill. We're not going to pay for it. It's between you and God. You know, you want to eat candy and potato chips and all that, go ahead. And if you get cancer or heart disease because you're over-carbed and full of sugar and your body's creating insulin, you know, 10 times the amount it would normally require for a normal fucking diet, then you die. Fine, don't send me the bill. We're not going to make it illegal. We're just going to tell you, stop being a dumbass, dumbass. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. That's my thoughts for the day. A few little points I wanted to talk about. And we'll continue ragging on the Constitution and some of this bullshit that's going on in America because I believe we need to fix it. But other than that, today is Tuesday. It's an awesome day. I think it's the 18th, maybe. Let's ask my phone, shall we? Yes, it is Tuesday, June 18th. So I love y'all, and you guys have a great day, and I need you all to start thinking more logically and not getting off in the weeds and being drugged down the alley and beat to death with your own ignorance. It's not that complicated. You have a right to free speech. And yes, you can yell fire in a movie theater, a crowded building, if there's a fire. And if there's not, then someone will probably kick your ass. But you don't need to go fucking suing people. All right? So let's get it simplified down to, instead of the Library of Congress being the biggest fucking library on planet Earth with everything we've ever thought about bitching about on there, we just need the 10 Commandments of America, and that was the Bill of Rights, and stop micromanaging every word and syllable in the fucking thing. You have the right to free speech, you have the right to own a gun. You do not have the right to shoot that gun into my yard and kill my dog. That becomes a violation because your right affected my right to own a dog. So there you have it. Talk to you later. Bye.
We've made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space and we fall back.
I'm your huckleberry.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
That's just my game.